All right, after 7 weeks of intense testimony, a jury of 8 men and 4 women will begin deliberations in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. In all, 34 witnesses testified for the prosecution, headlined by 2 of Combs' former girlfriends. Last week, both sides delivered their final arguments, and Combs did not present testimony or any witnesses at all. Here now with more. You've been combing this case, been telling us all about it. Darryl Cohen, lawyer right here in Atlanta. Welcome back to the show, my friend. You've been giving us great insight on this, and now it's coming to the end here. Are you still in the same position you were at the beginning?
More so then, more so now than then. It's a case where who cares, says the defense. So what, says the defense. Nobody was coerced, says the defense. We are not guilty of any crime or crimes, says the defense. That is completely different from what the prosecution has shown. We start with a video of Sean Puff Daddy Combs beating Cassie by the elevator. That is indelibly etched into the minds of the jurors. Then witness after witness after witness testified as to what he did and why they did what they did, because they were afraid of it. The defense, as I mentioned early on, would be, so what? It's Hollywood. We didn't hurt anybody. We didn't coerce anybody. Well, that is contrary to what the evidence is that was presented by the prosecution. It will depend. There may be jurors who say, so what? It's Hollywood. Who cares? It's nothing but a soap opera from Hollywood. That's what they do.
So is that
Other
the big
jurors would likely say, look what horrible things that he did and happened as a result of him. We're going to find him guilty. I can't get into the minds of jurors. There are always rogue jurors that think in a way that's different from everyone else. But my guess, I can't tell you it's educated yet, but my guess, my thoughts based upon the evidence from the prosecution and the lack of testimony or evidence from the defense is they will find him guilty, and he may very well spend the rest of his life in prison. We'll see.
You think that's the battle, but in the jury room right now, that's going to be the battle, whether or not it was, hey, this is Hollywood, this is what is done, and then those that have that tape in their minds, that's going to be the battle?
In my view, yes, because there was no evidence presented by the defense. There wasn't even a character witness put up that said, hey, he's a good guy, this didn't happen. So now it becomes a question of the credibility of the witnesses from the prosecution and whether or not they are credible and whether or not their credibility is enough to show that what he is charged with, he is guilty of, and as a result, they should find him guilty. I think I wouldn't be at all surprised if there isn't a juror or two who holds out, but I would be surprised if they don't find him guilty and convict him, at least of many of the crimes.
Given all this evidence and things like that, was it smart for the defense not to put up anybody?
I think when you have nothing to do, you do nothing. If they would have put on anyone who would say, yes, I was there, but it was no big deal, that person, whoever he or she was subject to cross-examination and made to look foolish. So I think the defense did what they could with what they had, and they didn't have a lot. So they're just trying to put a different spin on it.
If he's going to be convicted,
political race where I have no chance, but my only chance is to say I have no chance. Maybe I'll come through, maybe I won't.
Darryl,
if
Combs is convicted, what kind of sentence does he face realistically?
Depending on what he is convicted of, he is looking at the rest of his life in prison. But even should he not receive a life sentence, you would serve in the federal system. You serve 85% of your time. There is no parole. So, there's parole, but there's no early time. There's no way for him to get out with serving at least 85% of his time. That's the way it is. And there's no appeal to that. There's no, hey, he's a good guy, he should get out on parole. There is no parole. It doesn't exist. 85%, and then go to a halfway house. But look at his age. And look what he would be then if he is convicted, if he is sentenced, as I think he will be.
All right.
And this sends a message, Jesse. It sends a message to the rest of the world. If he is convicted, then they say this type of these actions are not acceptable and it shouldn't happen anywhere. If, on the other hand, he's acquitted, it's a wide open book for anybody, whether it's the record business or the film business,
Yeah.
television business, to do what they want, how they want to do it. I don't see him being acquitted. I just don't. At the best for him, a mistrial with one or two jurors saying, I can't or won't convict him.
Gotcha. Attorney Darryl Cohen, thanks so much for all your insight. We're going to have you back, man. A ruling could come down at any moment, so we'll have you back on and kind of break it all down for us. Really appreciate your insight.